All right, we're going to try this all over again. Go ahead and give this a thumbs up if you could hear me clearly. Just some glitches in the matrix with our sound, but I think we're good to go now. Just gonna let these notifications go out. Had a little bit of a mishap, a little bit of an echo. Believe we've cured that problem. Just gonna let some more people jump in. Got about 200 with us. Get this up to 4, 5, 6, 600. Enjoy these visuals. Go ahead and let me know in the chat if this live is working. I could see some people are joining. I believe my audio is good. Okay. Somebody said no, it's not working. What isn't working? All right, whatever. Hail Metallica, I appreciate you for being a YouTube member for 10 months. Much love. Appreciate you. You said live is now banging. Right on. Sounds great. Let's get these vibes popping. Thank you. Much love over to Germany. Wesley, I appreciate you. Appreciate the German wolves. Great to have you here with us. I believe my volume is good enough. I don't want to put it too loud. Got about 300 people with us. Appreciate y'all. Just say hi to a couple of y'all and then we'll kick things off. Eliza Marr, appreciate you. Hope you're well. Bronco, hope you're doing amazing. Third Eye Wizard, appreciate you. Mr. Jansen, I hope you're having an amazing time over there in Egypt. I was actually just working on some decodes for the pyramids. So, continuing to build and build up on this Decoding Mastermind course to make it the greatest decoding project of all time. It must be awesome being out there and actually getting to explore it firsthand. Keeping it DeFi, I hope you're doing well. Much love. Third Eye Wizard, I hope you're doing well. Happy Man, appreciate you, brother. Thomas Lennon asks, what is going on here? Nothing. There's nothing is happening here. This is most likely the biggest waste of time of your whole life if you tune into what we're doing right now. So if I were you, I would avoid this at all costs. And yeah, there's much better things you could be doing with your time. All right, Wego, hope you're doing amazing. You brought up one of my favorite foods. I spent a lot of time with this one. Well, I guess I had this one job at a time, and I was working with an Egyptian family. And being plant-based, that would be one of the foods they would bring me to work all the time. Kushari, absolutely delicious. Naskadal Explorer says, here we are. Echo is not ego anyway. It absolutely is. Ego is your echo. It's your co-pilot. It's your shadow. It's your best friend. Learn how to make it your friend, not an enemy. Have it work with you. Have it walk alongside you. It is the most loyal brother you will ever have if you allow it to be. Or it could be the most destructive force in your life. It's your choice. LMS, appreciate you. JT said, the stream being met with resistance is how you know the live's finna be a banger. Yeah, it happens. We've been through this before. When you do a live stream every single week for 3 years, it's going to be resistance. It's going to be things that happen. Glitches in the matrix. Dustin, I hope you're doing amazing. Pascal. George is asking about Publix watermelons. Maybe they do. Maybe they have some proprietary, some special QR code watermelon thing going on. Shout out to Mr. Jansen for gifting some memberships. Third Eye Wizard says, I'm 2 days into the advanced trading course. Much love, brother. I hope you I know you're probably learning a lot, but I hope you're enjoying doing that, especially at this time in the market. It's a complicated time. So tapping into that gnosis right now is going to provide you a lot of clarity amongst a lot of people that are confused. And of course, we're not just talking about looking at things from the longer time frames. We're talking about actively trading, which is what that course is about. Appreciate your support. Really means the world to me. Yeah, we're just waiting for some people to pop in, and then we'll kick things off as usual. Just saying hi to some people in the chat, get around to some questions. Johnny Bobang, I appreciate you, brother. Said transmitting abundance and love energy to all. That's truth. Zoracle, I appreciate you. Carmen says, my favorite time of the week. That really means a lot. I appreciate you. Got a super chat from Sai. He said you Patrick starred the live stream. Much love. I appreciate you. Got a super chat from Gabriel Saliba. I appreciate you, brother. I hope you're doing well. He said, Waters, my friend, any thoughts as to why the very top of my abs are getting puffy as I age? Specifically the rectus abdominis. The rest of my abs and obliques are well defined. That tiny little portion is very weird. Well, when it comes to adipose distribution, just the way that fat distributes in the body, it could definitely change with age because hormones change. Puffiness could be a lot of things. It could be inflammation. It could be excessive just holding on to minerals. But I don't want to use this term lightly, because there's two types. There's inorganic and organic, and we want to hold on to as many organic minerals as possible, and that will bring along a little bit of puffiness just because you're holding more liquid, which is good. That'll keep you hydrated. And then there's just excessive salt consumption and people that are consuming a lot of inorganic minerals, and that could add puffiness in a different type of way, which could actually dehydrate you, could make you feel quick to get headaches or migraines. And of course, in general, it will sort of confuse the way your body looks aesthetically, right? This is why bodybuilders and a lot of people that are prepping for maybe doing something with modeling or whatever, they'll manipulate their salt intake, they'll manipulate their carb intake, they'll manipulate maybe their fasting window and kind of play around with some of those metrics to get the type of look they want. But if you're talking about getting older and then you're also keeping yourself hydrated optimally, then any puffiness you're getting could be what I first mentioned. So one thing you could consider, though, is go into like a 24-hour dry fast. Just do a 24-hour dry fast and see how you look after 24 hours and see how that area responds. But if you're just talking about the top layer of abs and then everything else is kind of showing, then you could just be putting on more body fat. I mean, when you get to from the 10 to maybe 12%, the abs aren't going to be as visible, right? So you might just need to be a little leaner. And that's not something everyone should be trying to do. Gabriel, your question sounds super specific, and it's like as if you're trying to make something happen that maybe nature is trying to maybe teach you a lesson here. Maybe there's some ego work that you're getting through. And I only say this because this is what I do. I kind of rip the blanket off of you when you want to go to sleep, pour some ice water on you, make the room a little bit hotter than you would like. This is the sauna after all. Like, why are you paying so much attention to such a small part of you, and noticing such a different... That's kind of what I would ask, maybe. Like, do you love yourself? Do you love your body? Maybe that's kind of what we should be. Just allow, it's all good. It's just a little piece of the body. I don't know. I get these questions sometimes and I'm like, it kind of shows to me that maybe there's something going on with that. And that's your body's way of teaching you, your body's way of showing you that, like, hey man, you want to overly obsess about the small things in life, well, I'll give you a problem then. Ain't the Matrix a bitch sometimes? I love the Matrix. It's like, this is the thing that you're giving all your attention to right now, so that's where your problem will be. It's like you ask for it by giving your prana to it. But I'm just bringing that one component up. You know, this question, it does sound a little bit like maybe it's coming from a place of being overly concerned or giving too much energy to insert something that comes back to the aesthetic, which usually comes back to like the side of the ego that could be very destructive and too material and too focused on the minutia when there's bigger and more important things, perhaps. Because I think if you are talking about age in general and you're putting in abs in the same sentence, then consider yourself gifted, because most people getting older do not. They're dealing with the opposite, right? They're dealing with big guts and lots of excessive body fat. It's fat that's all around the organs too, which is pretty dangerous shit. So, but I mean, if it's none of that and I'm just like adding in this garnish on top and it doesn't really apply to you, at least it probably applies to many people. And then you could just revert back to the original thing that I said. Try like a 24-hour dry fast and see how your body responds to that without having any liquid, no food at all. Just see how your body responds and take note. And if you're eating a lot of salt, like excessive salt and lots of seed oils and lots of foods that are causing inflammation, even if you are leaner, it might give you some momentary puff, some momentary puffy. Just won't make you look as defined, usually. And then otherwise, it's just about lowering your body fat. But you probably know that because of the type of question you asked. George B. I appreciate your super chat. You said, dark question. If you were in a F camp and your family was taken from you, how do you keep resilience or serenity in moments of crisis? Oh, okay, I get what you're asking. How do you stay living from your purpose when the Matrix cock blocks you? No, but seriously, how do you do what you want to do and stay in your lane when things start hitting crisis mode? That's a great question. You know what's weird though? I live in a world mentally where I don't even imagine such circumstances. And I sort of have this feeling that once we give our energy to such an idea, that we will dwell there. Actually, George, you brought up a fucking awesome question, because now I was just thinking about this today. Last night, by the way, I've been overworking myself. Like, I have not taken much time off. I've been getting, just the required sleep needed and then heading straight into the work every single moment, every single day. Getting this new Decoding Mastermind course out, which is officially available now. And last night I said, you know what? I'm going to treat myself to a little movie. I only got halfway through it, but the movie kind of touches on your question, George. So the movie I watched was called Songbird. Have you guys heard of this shit? It's called Songbird, and I know a lot of you here are into crypto, probably into XRP, ISO 222 compliant stuff. You've heard of Songbird before. So I was like, this is really interesting. I'm going to read this, and I'm going to code it to where I would need to code it. for purposes that you all understand. So we have Songbird is a 2020 American dystopian science fiction thriller film based on the C-19 pandemic. It was directed by blah, 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 who wrote the screenplay, blah, 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 produced by Michael Bay. Let's pull up this guy while we're at it. So this hero literally started the filming process on this movie, by the way. Look at this. Look at the shit that is going on here, okay? On March 14th, 2020. You guys are aware that the day the pandemic started was March 11th. 3 days after, Adam Mason received a call from Simon Boyes, who had an idea for a film based on the C-19 pandemic. The pair spent the following weekend plotting out the film, pitching their idea to producer, blah, 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 near the end of March. In May of 2020, it was reported that they started working on this shit. Can you believe what I am saying to you right now? For those that don't know, they created a movie about a thing that was happening, and they wrote up the screenplay within a month of it going live on the world stage. Okay, now this is the plot, all right? By 2024, C-19 has mutated into C-23. Shit, it grew a couple inches. Got that 44, 2 4s. 2-4 is 24. The Hebrew year we're in right now, 5784, 24, Gregorian year 2024. Yeah. 20 plus 24 is 44. This 44. This 49. Who just lost the Super Bowl? The 49ers. Who lost the Super Bowl in 2020? The 49ers. Who did they lose against? The same team. The team's logo was a arrowhead. How do you so-called cure C-19? Well, you take one of these. You take an arrow in the arm. I'll continue. By 2024, which, by the way, this is the year we're in, so this movie was filmed in 2020, and it's set in 2024. This had mutated into C-23, and the world is in its 4th quarantine year. In the U.S., the nation's government is converted into a fascist police state, and the people are required to take temperature checks on their cell phones, while those infected are taken from their homes against their will and forced into Q camps, also known as Q zones. Pretty interesting. Q zone. We know about QAnon. We got the 33 there. And the 96. What happens on the 96th day of this year? Satoshi Nakamoto's birthday. Who died at 96 years recently? The Queen. The Q. The Cube. Okay. Q zones. Sounds fun, right? So George asks me a question. George says, if you were in a Q zone and your family was taken from you, how do you keep resilience or serenity in a moment of crisis? Bruh, I would never let myself get close to any of this nonsense. Ever. Excuse the noise out there. That's the police. They're coming to take me away. But anyways, I went through that whole two-year psyop in silence, actually. When it came to real life, I tried for like the first couple months, tried to help some people out. I noticed they didn't care. And then I said, you know what? I got to redirect all this energy. I got to serve my purpose. And during that whole time, you know, Alex Jones and all these other dudes were wigging out every day, talking about how we're going to go to these camps and this, that, and the third. And it was a lot of fear porn. And I just had this conversation maybe 2 days ago about how, you know, they wouldn't make all these F camps for no reason. But why would they make them? By the way, we're talking about this right now. Okay? By the way, the Chiefs just won the Super Bowl with 25 points. But anyways. So, bro, it just is not happening. I don't do that. I won't go to anything like that. Like, it will be like some Braveheart shit. Guns a-blazing. I really don't know how to answer this question, though. You know? Because it's theoretical. And I think they want us to imagine this shit's going to happen. Like, this is called predictive programming. They wanted us to watch this movie in 2020 so that we thought we would be in this 200 week-long quarantine. They wanted us to think that. They wanted us to bring it into life, into reality. That's what they do. So anyways, this movie sucks, by the way. It's really boring. And it's too much. It's too dramatic. I couldn't imagine living in a world that the world that they're showing in this. And how awful everyone is to each other. But this Bob Marley thing could be something, because we have this Bob Marley movie just came out recently, I believe, or it's about to come out. And then we have this coming out soon, which was something I wanted to talk with you guys about today, to learn a little bit more about what you all know. Maybe you could leave some comments, because I know this Leave the World Behind movie got really popular. Well, this movie by Alex Garland, who also did 28 Days Later, a couple other really well-known movies. Well, he's making a movie called Civil War. And as you can see right here, this is the Statue of Liberty's torch. You guys know we're going into the Olympics soon, this year. The Olympics is in Paris. This Statue of Liberty was allegedly gifted to the United States by the French. The logo of the Paris Olympics is literally a flame. And it's a flame that looks literally like a woman's head. You can see the lips there. It's very feminine. The flame, but feminine. Statue of Liberty, Libertas, Columbia, feminine. Or so they say. Let me pause this for a second. So you have up here this symbolism of the Statue of Liberty, the flame, the torch. This movie's called Civil War. And look at when it's being released. Just 4 days after the solar eclipse that forms an X over the state of Texas. And it says right here, in the near future, a team of journalists travel across the United States during a rapidly escalating second civil war that has engulfed the entire nation between the American government and the separatist Western forces, led by Texas and California. And in this Songbird movie, it takes place entirely in Los Angeles. Who just lost the Super Bowl? California team. And everything right now is going on in Texas. It's all moved out of California to Texas. I mean, I don't get this concept of how there would be a joined force between Texas and California, because both these states sort of hate each other, but that's a side note. The point that I'm getting to in this is that it's a setup. They're trying to give us this predictive programming and we bring it to life. And we have one of the most divided political scenarios of all time right now of my diaper is full Joe Biden, and my tanning bed appointment isn't till 3 p.m. Donald Trump. Today's live stream is sponsored by Donald Trump's personal spray tan artist and Joe Biden's sleep apnea mask. And it's also sponsored by Alex Garland and A24. Those are today's sponsors. Okay, let's finish this up. So it says, blah, 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 civil war between America and the red team. The red team versus the blue team. The film documents the journalists struggling to survive during a time where the government has become a dystopian dictatorship and partisan extremist militias regularly commit political violence. With Kirsten Dunst. Very cool. So this is it. This is coming out soon. It's coming out 4 days after our solar eclipse that forms an X over the state of Texas. We have Texas being a central theme here. We also have California being brought up in other states. We had this songbird coming out in 2020, also in the year that the 49ers lost. What are they saying? What are they saying to me? Pretty interesting. So this all adds up to a thing that I am kind of expecting, which is a March black swan. Now let's talk about that really quickly. So when we think of March, I want you to think about it as the beginning and the end, like an Ouroboros, a snake eating its tail. The point at which it starts to eat its tail would be Pisces. So as the sun is moving through Pisces, not just as it enters Pisces, but as it enters and leaves, that is the new year. It's not just one day. It would make no sense for such thing. The only true New Year's, by the way, is your birthday. Everything else is nonsense. Unless you're born on January 1st, then I guess you can say that your birthday is the fake New Year's. Anyways, getting back to reality here. When the sun moves through Pisces in the sky, not this tropical stuff, but in the sky, that would be your New Year month, your New Year's month. It's the Ouroboros. It's where the snake is meeting its tail, eating its tail, and then it is now looping back on itself. It's the end of the loop. And in the other hemisphere, it would be different. I don't want to get too complicated right now, though. I just want to kind of hang out on this idea for now. Just keep it super simple. I know I got about like 650 people here. And for those that want to get more of the base foundation in decoding, I do have this new Decoding Mastermind course available on my website now, finally. It's taken me a year. It's finally out. And if you go up here and click on the banner, you're going to see it says take 15% off. So this is an intro sale, also in the pinned comment. So just want to talk about this New Year's month and why we tend to have rituals between March 10th and March 15th. March 15th considered the Ides of March. By the way, I think the Ides of March is completely make-believe story. It's like Humpty Dumpty or Three Little Pigs. Everything in history is his story. It's used for leverage through belief. It has nothing to do with what they tell you. It's just the sun moving into Pisces, which would be around March 15th. It would be the elite celebrating their New Year's for the District of Columbia, the Vatican, and the City of London. Did you hear me? Please write that down. That's all that's going on here. And as the sun leaves Pisces, it goes into April 14th, into Aries. And this is why we have a ritual quite often on April 15th. Remember, everything works in threes. So when I say around, you could consider maybe March 14th, 15th, 16th as the New Year Trinity days, and then it would be the same thing over here for Aries, 13th, 14th, 15th April. So they start their New Year's off with a bang, and then they end it off with a bang. And then this time frame where it's going through Aries, we'd have May Day, May 1st. And then through that, we transition into the bull, Taurus. You know, Aries, ruled by Mars, war energy, war themes. But it's not just that. It's also about destruction. It's about breaking stuff down to rebuild anew. Darren Walsh, I appreciate your super chat. You said, how do you make your thumbnails? Yourself, apps, or AI? Darren, first off, fuck AI. Can I get an amen? I'm drinking some really delicious coconut water right now. I added some liquid magnesium, a little bit of liquid zinc, coconut water, pomegranate juice, and lemon juice. Delicious. Delicioso. Yeah. Good question, Darren. Fuck AI. I use Canva premium trial. I make them all myself, but there's been some things that I've had help with over time. Like, remember my older videos? Let me press play, sorry. My older videos had a gematria crypto text on the thumbnail. I created that gold texture and the type of font and that combination and the aesthetic. But I had my brother Mike in our community, Mike 440, graphic designer. He also does screen printing. He actually helped me take that idea and that aesthetic and bring it to life. So shout out to him. I usually try to find some human that I want to work with on these projects because that's just how I roll. But yeah, I don't use that gematria crypto thing anymore. I'm trying to kind of move away from that because, well, many reasons. I think decoding is just a better thing that'll tap, using that keyword, decoding is going to tap into more people, and it's a easier starting point. You know, gematria is very hidden. It's very esoteric. And to be completely honest, nobody's doing gematria because gematria would be using Hebrew and Hebrew cipher. And very rarely do you see that be done. Even most Jews don't do gematria. Even most rabbis don't do gematria. So it's only really utilized purely in its pure form by high-level Kabbalists. And I do know how to do actual gematria using the Hebrew characters, Hebrew, but it would just be a copy and paste job. What I know is the words, and I know the symbolic meaning, and I know whatever outcome those numbers are, I will have an awareness of them. And that can now be applied in English using English ciphers and this type of gematria that you're seeing in my videos. But again, you need some sort of base foundation. Anyways, utilizing the term gematria is more direct, it's more honest. Decoding, not using the word gematria, excuse me. I'm not sure which one I said. So yeah, brother, I create all my own thumbnails, and I design everything that I do. I don't use AI. I don't have any intention of using AI. It's very boring to me and tasteless, and it has no process. And I like to involve myself in stuff that has a process, so that way I could learn, that way I could become self-reliant. Also, I'm not against other people using AI, by the way. So if everyone else wants to use AI and I'm sitting here alone, the lone wolf, not using it in the year 2043, then great. I'll be alone, chiseling into stone like a fucking caveman, and I'll be happy. I'll own nothing and I'll be happy because I'll be chiseling hieroglyphs into a mountain with a big beard. And everyone else will be wearing these Apple goggle things. What are they called? Apple pod, face pods. What are they called? Apple shithead headband. Is that what I call it? Vision. Apple Vision. Yeah, everyone will be walking around wearing this, looking like a cool guy, looking like they're in the cool guy club, and I'm gonna be a caveman, a horse caveman, lemur. Welcome to the cool guy club. Crypto Coaster, I appreciate you. It's all love. I'm getting back to the chat now, but you guys have to look at cool guy for a while. Kalai says, my ego betrayed me, but I had to learn to forgive it. I'm a better human for it. That's right. It's all about forgiveness. It's all about allow this ego to be your co-pilot. Stop controlling it until you have to, right? Sometimes you have to tell your co-pilot, hey, sit your ass down. You know, I'm the fucking captain. You have to be a little bit more harsh sometimes. What's going on with 99% of humanity is their ego gets out of the co-pilot's position, rips you out of your chair, sits in your seat, and then you like look at it with puppy dog eyes and shrug your shoulders and look down and just walk. You don't even sit in the co-pilot chair. You go to the fucking back of the plane. Your soul lifts up and just goes, okay, I guess I'll let you fly the plane. That's humans right now. And then you have these so-called spiritual leaders being like, you need an ego death. It's like, okay, bro. Why? Why do I need an ego death? So you could program me with your horse shit? Is that the game plan here? I need an ego death so you can tell me how I'm a star seed from the Pleiades and the Schumann resonance is up so that we're going to all go to the 6D or whatever. Yo. It's easy to spellcast a homie when their ego is damaged. Cool guy club. This guy is wearing the Apple shithead headband while looking at a laptop. This is good. It's like it's not enough. My life is so boring that I need everything I look at to be digital and animated. Google Images. Google Images is so much better than this nonsense Brave browser image. Sorry, Brave, but gotta get your shit together. All right. Cool Guy Club, Apple Vision. Yes. Yes. This is great. I love the apocalypse. It is not just it is the Apple. It's the apocalypse. $49. Yeah, that's so stupid, but so true. My boy, look at this. What is he plugged into? I just want to know like the EMF that's going into the Look, mommy, I can melt chocolate in my skull. Cool Guy Club. Cool Guy Club. Cool Guy Club. I bet you this dude has never touched these things with his own hands. Look, he's like, I'm not going to touch it. I'm going to act like I'm going to touch it, but I'm not going to touch it because I know what happens when I touch it. It turns me into stone. It Medusas me. I think my life would be better if I had a screen that was 3 millimeters from my eyeballs. Why can't I just be happy? It's because I don't have a screen touching my retina. I want the screen to be like on my eyeball. I want my eyelids to be ripped open, and I want a fucking Apple screen in my eye. I want it. I just don't even want eyes anymore. Can you just rip my fucking eyes out and give me robot eyes? Just give me robot eyes, please. I'm sick of my eyes. I'm sick of looking. I'm sick of vision. I hate vision is old school. I want to have Apple vision. I hate looking at things. Why look when I could have my robot eyes look for me? Who needs to look at the rain? I hate the rain. Oh man, yeah, I could troll this shit all day, but I guess it's time to move on. Cool guys. So yeah, that's gonna be me, everyone. I'm gonna be in 2043. I'm gonna be alone with a big wizard beard. And when everyone's using AI to create everything, I'm just gonna be there chiseling into rocks the old school way. And then I'll be having the most fun in the Q zone camps. In my Q camp, my Q zone. I can't wait. I can't wait to be in the Q zone with my Apple Vision eyes. Lolo Blondo, I appreciate you. You said water's your voice in the trailer for the new decoding course, which is awesome. Is amazing. I wish I could improve my voice. Any tips? Lolo Blondo, I mean, do you want to hear something kind of funny? I know there's like 700 people right now, but throughout my whole life, I've actually had some people like straight up mock my voice or kind of make fun of it. And you know, one thing to be said, and you guys can tell how spicy I am not the guy to fuck with, you know, because if you think you're funny, I'll tear you apart. Not you, Lolo, but you know what I'm saying. So anyways, this is probably how I learned how to be the way I am, because I don't take shit from any. Yo, what the hell are we watching right now? Sorry, we gotta take a moment. Did you just see that lava waterfall? Fuck. Yo, Mother Nature doesn't give a shit about any of us. Mother Nature's like, I'm gonna piss lava out of my mountain right now. Test me. Holy shit, does that look awesome. I just want to watch that on loop. This lava waterfall. That is sick, dude. Anyways, Lolo, when it comes to the voice, just talk the way you want to talk and don't worry and don't think about it. And a lot of the times we hate our own voices. That's very natural. Just speak from the diaphragm. Don't use too much head voice. Be calm when you speak. Like when you're calm, you could deliver the words at the tone and the frequency it's meant to be delivered at. Don't force. That's probably the only thing that I would say is don't force. Like I could see when I watch a lot of people on YouTube or just public speaking and stuff like this, a lot of people are nervous, so that doesn't allow them to tap into their voice. And then another thing would be they're forcing a pitch or a tone or a type of cadence, and that's unnatural. So just be natural. CMGs, I appreciate you. You said look into the movie Wish. There's a movie called Wish. Movie. Oh, it's a Walt Disney. Okay. 1 second, I'm going to leave this up and then I'm going to get to this. Darren Walsh asks, red meat, adrenochrome, you say we are eating, but the red is a phytoprotein, the blood is gone, so why no red carnivores get a lot of nutrients? Darren, I mean, here's the thing. We're not, I don't think we're in a place in this world where we're all ready to have that conversation. I think we are too divided right now. And it's like the carnivore gang against the vegans, and it's like the Bloods and the Crips, and neither team gets it. Neither team gets it. Both teams are overly identifying with the body, overly identifying with the identity that comes along with it, and both of those types of people are exhausting. People who are on this carnivore wave and people who are on the vegan wave are fucking exhausting to me. I'm just over it. I gotta be honest and direct with you. I am not even, the whole nutrients and phytonutrients and antioxidants and polyphenols, it's just scientism nonsense. I don't give a fuck about it anymore. It's so divided, it's so polarizing. I get once a week some carnivore genius come to me and try telling me like some wisdom. And I'm like, bro, you're no different than these vegan cult members. You're all in a cult. And it's like the Bloods and the Crips. Just move on, man. Like, everyone needs to move on. It's just pushed to the extreme right now. People need to relax. It's just nourishment. Food is nourishment. Be fucking grateful that we all even have food. It's so egoic right now how everyone wants to know this perfect way of being nourished. And then when anyone shares their truth, somebody with some counter genius idea has some fucking wisdom to impart on us. It's boring to me. We're better than that. We're bigger than that. And like, I know a lot of people trust in me and come to me for advices on nutritional information and health and wellness and just how to be like generally a better person, a healthier person. But if it includes these two terms of vegan and carnivore, I almost know how exhausting the conversation is going to get, how much prana will be leaked in the process. I think we have a bigger and more important conversation to talk about, which is called, it is just nourishment. We are food choicists. We get to choose. We have unlimited options right now. We have Uber Eats. We have Bolt if you live in fucking Czech Republic or some shit. You can have hot food delivered to your fucking doorstep right now. We are so divided on this conversation of what's the proper way to nourish thyself. And we're overlooking the truth of truths, which is you're a spiritual being here to have a physical opportunity in this simulacrum. Just do what you feel is best for you, everyone. But there's no proof or truth to one form of eating being the ideal form of eating. Yes, you can eat carnivore for a period of time and have a better quality of health than compared to what you were doing prior. The same thing could happen with vegan. The same thing could happen with vegetarian. The same thing could happen with keto. The same thing could happen with fucking eating nothing but apples all day. It's called a pattern break. But to end the spice, yes, if you eat flesh, you're consuming adrenochrome because the animal will give off of that from the glandulars at the moment of death, just like you would. Especially if you were locked and tortured in a particular area that you didn't choose to be in. Right in front of your friends and family. Yeah? It's a simple fucking question for people. How could we have the audacity to delineate the differences between the adrenochrome of a human or a cattle being bolt-gunned in the skull in a line of cattle that all see what's going on and hear what's going on? Have you ever watched a video of a cow being bolt-gunned in the skull? I suggest you try it out. It's you could maybe do it while you're wearing your Apple Vision Pro pods. You can make the cow wear a sombrero while it's being bolt gunned in the skull. Then you could feel better. And you could say, I'm eating the right way. I know. It's not comfortable. Good question though, brother. But yeah, we need to move past these terms. It's just nourishment. Do what your heart resonates with. Stop making all your choices with your mind. Live from your heart. That's all I'll say. Sai, I appreciate the super. You said, Jordan, since you've been working so hard, you should take the next week's live stream off and enjoy your weekend. You know, I do love the idea. It's not a bad idea. No, I love hanging out with you guys. I really do. Like, I think this is the most beautiful part of my week. I look forward to it. I think we have a lot of opportunity here. We have a lot of expansion. We have a lot of uncomfortability, which leads to growth. I have a lot of opportunity to be vulnerable. I mean, I really do. Like, I think about how through doing these live streams on a regular basis, like, I've become a better man. I've become a better leader. I've become a better just version of myself. Like, I've peeled back a lot of the layers of my ego and I've seen it for what it is. And this is such a vulnerable opportunity for me. I get to share and I get to explore ideas and thoughts. And there's no script, there's no editing. I'm just feeding off of the energy that I'm receiving from this chat, and it's this kind of dance, if you will. And I don't promote what I'm saying as the truth. Like, at the very beginning of this live stream, somebody asks, what's going on here? I straight up told them nothing's going on here. This is probably going to be a waste of your time today. I was honest. Sometimes you just have to tell people what it is that they want to hear so that you could protect your energy. You know? So I enjoy this opportunity. Like, it allows me to tap into a lot of things that were once maybe scarce, fearful mindset, limiting belief based concepts. You know what I'm saying? So one of the pieces of advice I could share is that for people that want to get into this game, you know, this doing the entrepreneur life, probably the best decision you could ever make is become more vulnerable with your thoughts. Become more vulnerable with your thoughts. Now think about how you could do that on this platform or on any platform. YouTube isn't the only one. If you like Instagram, go do it there. If you like TikTok, go do it there. If you like whatever, go do it where you feel it's your vibe, right? There's all opportunity everywhere. But what people support the most is usually something that makes them feel like it's real, like it's raw, like it's not been, you know, perfectly adjusted for your listening pleasure. I think people actually really enjoy how I don't edit my videos. I think they really enjoy the fact that I show up here for a couple hours every week and just shoot the shit with everyone. And I don't mind telling someone to go fuck themselves. Like, sometimes you just got to tell it how it is. Like, we had this one guy last week, I think. I don't know if he's here with us today. But he wrote something quite long, and he was saying that he wishes that I wouldn't curse. And I replied back to him with a very just like heartfelt, like I went directly to my heart when I read what he wrote. And I responded back. And then I just shared my heart with him and like my truth. And then he wrote back something later after the live stream, and it was also really heartfelt. And it was like, damn, you see what we just did there? Like, it went from a complaint to me just telling someone, like, hey, you can't control me, and this is who I am, and this is the way I'm going to be. But I explained it in a way where it wasn't like me trying to attack him. It was just like, this is what it is, you know? Especially about this conversation of people that are worried about hearing curses, or like they don't want their kids hearing curses. But it's like, let's be real here, bro. And I'm not talking about the guy I responded to last week. I'm just talking generally now, right? But shout out to whoever I was communicating with last week. It's all love, for real. But in general, if you try to shelter your kids, or you try to shelter yourself away from the way people talk in regards to cursing, then how are your people going to get ready for the real world, bro? This world is wild. This world is wild. Like, go walk through downtown Los Angeles. You're going to see in 10 minutes, you're going to see a human being taking a shit on the street, somebody shooting up heroin, someone else dumpster diving, not even for food. They're dumpster diving for like you don't even know what, you know? And then someone else is like getting a blowjob. Then another guy is like tanning naked on the concrete. That's the real fucking world. Like, that's how it is, man. This whole sheltering because somebody said fuck, it doesn't really make sense. Especially if the person that's saying it has all this other information. Like, it's not like I'm just belligerently cursing people off. Have you guys ever heard me act like that with somebody for no reason? That's just not my way. The only time someone gets a fuck off is if they try telling me how to behave. And by the way, I believe we should be acting like that, because we live in a world right now where everyone's trying to control us. Remember when this C-19 shit happened? Everyone's telling you to put on a mask. Everyone's telling you this is what you got to do with your body, with your health. Fuck off, dude. What? You don't need anyone telling you what to do in this world unless you're asking for the advice. But yeah, just being belligerent for no reason, obviously that's just not fun to listen to. It's boring. Unless there's context, unless it's funny. Make comedy great again. Make not taking this life so fucking seriously great again. What is wrong with people right now? It's like we're so tense. What's up with that? What's up with the tension? How about we do this? Because we're getting a little spicy right now. Let's just take a moment. Big, deep breath in. Everyone, do it with me. Deep breath in. All right? Just loosen up. The tension, it's gonna be okay. Everything is gonna be fine. Remember that movie Grandma's Boy, where he's like Mr. Cheezel? Where he's like, good things are coming. Yeah, you want to be like Mr. Cheezel. It was two animals joined as one. Dark Ratatat. I appreciate your super chat. You said started eating organic and whole this past week. Also ordered some grass-fed free range meat. Should I be concerned about the water? I have a Berkey. You know, the water conversation is also another. It depends, you know? But it's not going to be better than distilled water, because nature is a water distiller and the human body is a water distiller. So any other forms of purification are not doing the same thing as distillation. But the human body and nature is a water distiller. The hydrological cycle, when it rains, that's a water distiller. Amniotic fluid in the woman's womb, water distiller. Urine, water distiller. Everything, blood, water distiller. It's all distillation. So that's what we should be consuming too. So a water distiller is ideal for drinking just straight up water. But you also don't need as much straight water as you think. So be careful with over consuming pure water. You don't really need that. You should probably divvy it up a little bit with some fresh coconut water, with some real fruit juice, if you could juice it yourself. That's how you'll get actually hydrated. But if you're a big coffee drinker, big tea drinker, and all of that, then yeah, the water distiller is going to be worth it. Rafael Cruz said, how did y'all find... Okay, you're not asking me a question. You're asking the community a question. That's a great question, though. Let me read it anyways. Rafael Cruz said, how did y'all find out about waters? I'm curious what happened in your lives that led you here. Damn. Oh, here's my waterfall. This is so cool. Literally a lava waterfall. I can't get over it. I'm inspired by this, by the way. This is the most inspirational thing I've seen in a long time. It's just this. Crazy. How beautiful. And chaotic. Dark Ratatat asks about the daily diet. Do you ever unwind and eat processed? All the time. But I'm not taking it as seriously as I used to. And I also know that when I start getting off on my health, like, and I go down the path of too acidic, you know, like when you start eating too much processed food, which is very rare for me. Like I always keep it very plant-based, and I do a lot of, like, I'll compensate by going even more hydrative on the days that I know I'm going to eat out, or the days that I know I'm going to have a couple drinks. That's definitely something to keep in mind. You just want to be optimally hydrated, so you never want to go against that. This is why I promote at least 50% of the caloric intake should be fruit, raw, fresh fruit. And then you could play around with everything else. But getting into the specifics is really unnecessary. And again, it brings up a lot of commotion. But I've talked about this enough now of what I like to eat. I grew up eating Puerto Rican food, so rice and beans was super normal. Tostones, maduros, so like sweet plantains, tons of plantains. I eat a lot more potatoes now. Sweet potatoes are great. If I ever eat sweet potatoes, I really like the purple sweet potatoes. Those are amazing. Japanese sweet potatoes. Quinoa is awesome. Lentils is awesome. I haven't been doing as much bread lately. Whenever I do eat bread, though, it's sourdough, like it's naturally fermented. I try to also eat pickled vegetables almost every day. So like a little bit of kimchi, a little bit of sauerkraut is a big one for me. Chia pudding is also dope. Yeah, just everything. Let's look through this. George B, I appreciate Appreciate your super chat. You said, I heard you talk about giants before. How do you think they lived and became extinct? And do you speculate a timeline for those beings? I don't think they're extinct. I don't think they live in this particular part of the realm that we reside in. These continents that they allow us to play in, like children in a playpen. I believe our realm is much larger than we're told. And I think that whatever is residing in this part of the realm has been pushed away, either over time or because of cataclysms. But it doesn't mean that it's quote unquote extinct. The same thing goes for one of my favorite jokes of all time from one of the best specials of all time. It was a Cat Williams special. And he was talking about I think it was the Aztecs. He was talking about the Aztecs and the Mayans, and he was saying how we like believe in them and the calendar and this, that, and the third, but we don't have any of their bones. Like, we have none of the remains of these beings that were called the Aztecs, the Mayans, the Toltecs. And his joke was that in any city that has a natural history museum, you have a 30-foot dinosaur, and it has every bone from the top of its head to its balls. But we don't have a single skeleton of the so-called, it's like a joke. It's just, whether it's factual or not, it's irrelevant, because we know that all of those so-called dinosaur bone, they're plaster. That shit ain't real. That's like one of the biggest psyops of all time. So they give us all this horse shit that dinosaurs are real, but then they tell us that giants aren't. And of course, there might be some of these large, quote unquote, giant bones that are mixed into other looking like bones that are made of plaster. And it's what they turned into these so-called dinosaurs. But this is a whole other conversation that goes into a whole other lane, and I hope that you all just go out and do your own research. Also, at the end of the day, it is quite irrelevant. But getting back to the question from George, I don't really look at things that black and white, like they're extinct or not. It's kind of where I wanted to go with this. Now, I also don't believe that we live on the map that they're showing us. I think we live in a much different realm, a larger realm, which I said a couple moments ago as well. And I think other creatures reside there. And I think by the water, by the seas, sometimes we have these anomaly animals that we have never seen before in this realm. They show up through the oceans, through that. And it happens all the time. People are fishing and they see some weird-ass fucking fish that's 30 times larger than any fish that we've ever seen that looks like that. And we'll just come up with some nonsense like they must have ate some radioactive material or whatever, and now they're all big. Or there's a tumor on the pituitary gland. They'll just make some shit up out of thin air. But it's the realm has these creatures somewhere. And due to the cataclysms that we have, these beings probably have crafts and probably have technologies that me and you have never seen before. And this is why the realm is scattered with unbelievable architecture that not a single contractor or modern architect or any team of people that is involved in building or the logistics of building is capable of recreating today. The realm is scattered. And I'm talking about the realm we inhabit right now, this place they call Earth, in these continents that they've named, in the countries that they also named. They get to name everything. They give us the flags. They give us the borders. They give us the zip codes. They give us the everything. And we just go, okay, sure. So, we have a lot of unlearning to do. We have a lot of things to question in the process of making these calls. So, it's probably still giants here in this realm somewhere. And the underground part of this world is probably where a lot of their remains are hidden. I would assume the Vatican Museum has tons of that shit. There's probably some other great museums out there where under the museum, like the Louvre, for instance, There's probably 5 to 10 miles of archives that we have not gotten access to and we will never get access to. And nobody has a QR code or lanyard card that would be able to get into those facilities. It would probably have to be some very specific key, or maybe some iris or blood type thing that would allow access to that shit. It's probably by blood right only. And that's why they've set up the world the way they set it up, where there's royalty in the shadows, and the royalty that is ruling the royalty that they give you, the exoteric royalty. And then they give you politicians who just are on the front lines of the charade. You think they have power, but they are incredibly powerless. They're just talking heads. I know a lot of you know this already. I'm not trying to educate that. I know you get it. So, as for the giants, it's pretty obvious that there's a realm that surrounds us that has some really amazing architecture and amazing land terraforming, such as things like star forts. You could pull those up really quickly. If this wasn't made by the humans that me and you know of as humans today. This is not humanly possible with what we're working with, the technologies that we have and the minds that we have today. Elon Musk is not building this shit, okay? Jeff Bezos is not building this. You see all the stuff they build? They're just building dildos made of metal that are useless, that aren't going anywhere. They're bashing into the firmament and getting pissed right back down to the surface. It's a waste of fucking resources. It's a waste of money. This shit is not built by human beings. You've never seen a human building this. You've never seen a human building this. And if we were to start building something like this, it would take us hundreds of years to get even close. We are not doing this. They're going to show you some paintings of us try to do something. They're going to do everything they can to give you some history that shows that we've done something like this before, and that's just never happened. Yeah, this shit was probably made thousands of years ago. The complexity of some of these structures, like, look at this. If you lived inside of that, you'd have no idea what the fuck it's like from the outside. How could it be humanly possible with no drones, no airplanes, to have this sort of geometric precision? And of course, it's all coming into a hexagon in the center, symbol of Saturn. There is no way we're doing something like this. And also, by the way, it's in the middle of fucking nowhere. This is just farms surrounding it. Oh yeah. Let's just carve this one in there, shall we? All right. Yeah. We're not even getting close today. Incredible. Look at that. Look at the trees. Look at the tree line. Get the fuck out of here. The planting of the rows of double row of trees perfectly following. As if it was ornamentation, as if it was a flex. It's like, look, we could do this shit. And by the way, let's flex on all of y'all with 2 rows of trees perfectly wrapped around this shit with precision. That's hard, man. That's hard. They're like, we're gonna flex on them too. We're gonna throw some trees around this bitch. It's amazing. And then look, New York City. Yay. Dildo, 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 dildo. Tasteless glass. Nothing. worthless. Human zoo, human zoo, human zoo, nothing. Waste. Statue of Liberty, built on a star fort. Let's look at Dubai. Yeah. Dildo, 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 dildo. Tasteless. Glass. Nothing. Dildo. It's like a techno song. Tasteless, 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 tasteless. Nothing. Mr. Cheezel knows. Oh, yeah, this super chat. Sorry. Was this CMGZ? I appreciate you. I didn't mean to miss out on this. We were having fun. Hope you're still here. You want me to look at this? I don't know what this movie is. It looks like it's pretty new. It's called Wish. I can't be doing like full decodes on stuff out of nowhere. But I'll try to see what I could see. Oh, it almost looks like a Bitcoin logo on this. Weird. What is this thing that's... Okay, anyways, Portal. It's a llama or a dog. Comes out on November 22nd. So remember, Novem is 9. So this is 922 or 229. But that 22 is big this year. It's a big code whenever you're seeing that 22. So this looks like the cosmic egg sort of symbolism. Went over this a lot in my decoding course, by the way. XR Peaky Blinder, I appreciate your super chat. You said if they put Apple Vision on Statue of Liberty, she will become Apollo. Yeah, that's where we're headed. So we also, on this, we have, you always want to see any embellishments, like any detail. I'm getting back to this quick decode, by the way. So whenever you're looking at symbols, I always want you to flip symbols, and you could also mirror symbols. It's also very helpful. But you see this S and how it has the star on it. Pay attention to that, okay? S is serpent symbolism, chaos symbolism, a pep, Lord of Chaos, Lord of Darkness. You see the stars in the dark. So yeah, that symbol is very important. I believe that's probably Polaris. But there could also be just straight up basic symbolism here where they're showing you this is Polaris. Again, I would need to watch the movie and get more into some of the details because I don't know what the hell I'm looking at right now. Portal, though, clearly a portal behind this girl. It says, be careful what you wish for. Also another flex. What I mean by that is they're always telling you kind of truths. They're telling you some real deal shit. We talked about this before with manifestation. Like, a lot of people aren't ready to have abundance. We're going to talk about that for a second. 95% of humanity thinks they deserve something, but they're not ready for that for that manifestation. Like, you know how many people are like, I wish I was a multi-millionaire. And then if they were to get that money right now, they would squander it. They would lose it all. They wouldn't know how to invest it. They would spend it all on liabilities. They would probably be spending it on stuff that ruins their health, ruins their relationships, brings a lot of fake people into their life, right? Because if you're spiritually bankrupt and then you wish for abundance and you want it monetarily, well, now you have all this money, you're going to start buying things for fake people so that you get attention, so that you get some validation, so that you feel better about yourself because you have poor self-esteem. People need a different form of abundance, and then everything else falls into place. The money thing is actually quite simple once you allow that, but a lot of people have fear or lack programming when it comes to money, so it holds them back. But then at the same time, they think they deserve money, and then also at the same time, they think they should manifest money. It's like, wait, hold up. How can you ask for something when you have no vessel for it to go into? And you're holding the lid on that vessel sealed tight because of fear that you have. Right? How about instead of manifesting, how about you just get your hand off the lid? How about you just take your fucking hand off the lid, guy? Like, come on, man. You know how you do that? Stop being in your mind so much and be in your heart. So yeah, when this says be careful what you wish for, that's facts. Most people don't even understand the power of the words they speak. You ask, therefore you shall receive. But are you spiritually ready to receive? That's the question. People ask me this all the time. They're like, Waters, I'm not doing so well with money, or like I've been having a lot of money trouble, or I in trading, or like I got into crypto and I thought it was sold on to me that I was going to make all this money and now I'm not. It's like, you don't believe in yourself and you believed in everyone else. You have to put that energy back into you. Start believing in you again and stop giving away all your prana to these so-called specialists. Learn what you are. Allow yourself and stop promoting everyone else's opinion to the top. Hunter-gatherer, I appreciate you sharing. Sure, exactly. Do what works for you. When it comes to food, do what you believe is best for you. Whoa, this is an amazing comment. Somebody said, Jesus said, you know it's going to be good when somebody starts their when somebody starts it off by saying, Jesus said. How do you know what Jesus said? Please tell it. Please explain it to us. You know what did Jesus say? Oh, the thing you read in the Bible? That's been translated? That's wrote by scribes? That's where we get the word scribble from. You know what happens when we scribble? Scripture. Who reads scripts? Hollywood actors. What did Jesus said what? I love that. That's the best. Jesus said insert anything, and it's like, you know, you're not going to get anything but a couple chuckles in at best. All right, let's keep it moving. Oh, I forgot. I have the Jesus thumbnail. Right. I almost forgot. Radiation Matters says, get stuck in the Ouroboros cycle and you'll end up eating yourself. Well, maybe Radiation Matters. Maybe we need to. Maybe we do need to come full circle on our beliefs and where we stand on something, and that way we could see it from a different vantage point and we could allow it to die so that we could live forever. A lot of our beliefs and a lot of our ideas and a lot of our concepts, we stick to them with so much pride and so much belief prana that it almost becomes the identity. And then sometimes it's difficult to compassionate what other people are doing. And it's hard to know where's the next phase in my growth cycle? Like, what's next? But yeah, you did make a great point. You did bring something up. But I look at it as it's an important phase. It's an important phase for the snake to eat its own tail. Come full circle. See who you really are. Face yourself. Most people don't want to face themselves. Man is suffering right now because man avoids self. The world has become selfless. We feel virtue in that as well. We feel better about ourselves when we are selfless. Interesting. But maybe that's what's brought us to this point, where we have no ability to unlock our truths from within us, and we need everything to come from the outside. We need every other person besides ourselves to somehow validate some so-called fact or truth. That's the sickness that man is dealing with in the information age. I appreciate there being 700 of y'all here today. Verhoofdi, this argument that people make about consuming flesh and then bringing in other animals is insane. This is psychopathic. You said, would you berate the tiger for eating meat and killing its quarry? No, you're not a tiger. You were typing on a fucking phone screen right now. You buy food in plastic that is packaged, and there's been stuff put in that package to make sure your food doesn't go bad. You have a refrigerator. You have Wi-Fi. You're not like naked outside, like eating grass and fucking like starting fires with your bare hands. Like, you probably take a shit, flush the toilet, and have better drinking water that comes out of that toilet than most people in Africa have to drink. You're not a tiger. None of you are tigers. There's no... You're not on the savannah right now. You're a human who does human shit. And it's not up to me or you to decide what is natural. You don't know what natural is. You're on a computer right now. Let's get the ego out of this. Stop bringing in other shit that you have no idea about. Like, we don't know how the tigers feel. All we can do is observe them. But when we start using that as a mechanism to like make our argument more powerful, it sounds ridiculous. It's a bad argument. You are listening to a live stream right now. Tigers are sleeping with one eye open because there might be another predator out there that wants to rip into their jugular vein while they're sleeping. You get to sleep probably listening to solfeggio frequencies in a calm, beautiful environment with a ceiling fan going. What is it's insane how we do this all the time, where humans are like, well, tigers, the lions eat meat. What is that? Even comparing any of us to some tribal peoples makes no fucking sense. The whole comparison game is done. It's unsophisticated. It's useless. Just do you. But it makes you look like a fool when you start bringing in such comparisons. Whether it be physiologically, spiritually, consciously, it doesn't matter. We haven't consulted the panda bears on their truth yet. We haven't consulted the pigeons on their truth yet. We only have the human experience, human logic, human understanding. And as far as I can tell, we're the only being that has destroyed our own realm, or at least we are attempting to, and we support the devastation and decay of our own realm, because it makes us feel better about ourselves, that we have that power. We have the power to cut down every tree in a plot of land and build a mega mansion. That we have that power. I have never seen any footage of a bunch of tigers pushing down the trees, and then one of them shows up with a crane and starts placing blocks of cement and 2x4s, and the other one starts planning the scaffolding that they're going to put out in front at the border And then another one breaks out a tape measure and says, you know what? We're going to build out this mansion here in the desert. And then we're going to lay down we're going to get some septic, get some electrical going. And then, so then when we could put the fridge there, of course, we need the refrigerator. So then when we kill the animal, we're going to just light kill, not too much. We got to save the meat. Going to make sure that we're going to butcher it a little bit, put it in some cellophane, going to put it inside of the refrigerator so it lasts a little longer. Got to get some steak seasoning and A1 sauce because, we like our hyena to be a little bit medium rare with the steak sauce. You see how retarded this sounds? George B., I appreciate your super chat. The lava was absolutely dope. Check out this movie Wish. Today's live stream is sponsored by Wish. It's sponsored by the thing that we keep getting cut off from. Luigi said, please come to Arizona one day. We'll see. We'll see. Sun swept. I appreciate you. Lolo Blondo says she knows how to make kimchi and sauerkraut. That's awesome. I've never gotten into pickling, but it is something I plan to get into. Oh, well, this is a big takeaway right there. The story focuses on a 17-year-old girl, named Yeshua. Asha. Yeah. They couldn't hide that one, could they? In the kingdom of roses. Rose, Rosicrucian, Rose Cross, who makes a passionate plea to the stars in a moment of need, wishing upon a star, leading her to meet a living magic star which has fallen from the sky, a magic star which has fallen from the sky, a fallen angel, and together they face up to the kingdom's evil ruler, Magnifico, which is pine. They literally say pine. Pino. Like Pinocchio, the third eye. Do these Disney movies lose money? Like, they all make money, right? People love this shit. What do they take their kids to see this, right? Like, kids don't even know what they're watching, by the way, when they're watching this stuff. This is all of these Disney movies are all coded with symbolism and, yeah. Oh, this actor's name is Pine. Chris Pine. Christos Pine. Born in LA. Son of an actor. Cool Guy Club. Welcome to the Cool Guy Club. Got a super chat from someone over in Greece, I believe. In Greece. Shit. Peter. How's it going, Peter? You said I really resonated and related with you when you talked about your relationship and upbringing with your parents. All right, it's about to get deep. Peter wants to go deep. First of all, shout out to Greece. I've never been to Greece. I would love to visit someday. I would also love to visit Switzerland. I've gone a couple times to Switzerland, but it was, too expensive. Stupid complaint, but yeah, that was probably the one thing that made it a little bit difficult to enjoy. Just like everything, every time I looked at something's cost, I cringed a little bit, you know? But I know that's a limiting belief, and I know that was where I was, and it's probably different now, but that was a honest testimonial, you know? Everything was crazy expensive there. So get ready for that if you're not used to, unless maybe you're somebody from Norway or Iceland or some shit, you know, kind of probably expect. Anyways, Peter says, I really resonated and related with you when you talked about your relationship and upbringing with your parents. What helped you make peace with your past? I think I kind of just got over this like boy energy, this energy of being a boy. Like sometimes you just gotta fucking man up. You know what I mean? Like I'll just be a straight shooter. Sometimes you just gotta man up. A lot of us like hold and store all this energy inside of us for absolutely no reason because it's energy of the past and you can't really do anything about it. You can't do anything about what has happened. You have an opportunity, though, to transmute that energy and turn it into something that could be valuable for your present moment. And that's what I learned. I can tap into this hate that I have or this fear that I have of my past, and I could transmute that energy into something that serves my purpose. I get to use it as gasoline in this beautiful car. But just like any other car, if you never put any gas in it and you never drive it and you just keep it there parked, after a certain amount of time, it's going to start to go to shit. And that's what a lot of us do. We store memories inside of us and we never work with that energy. There's either a lot of spiritual bypassing going on. There's a lot of avoiding. There's a lot of like medication, numbing, you know, a lot of people numbing. I just decided to man up. It's like going into really cold water. Like, you know, it kind of sucks, but once you do it, do a little cold plunge, you face your fears, and it's all good in the hood. If you're afraid of heights, go fucking climb a mountain. Go get on a flight. Go on a roller coaster. Face it. Deal with it. Feel what it feels like. Otherwise, you're just imagining shit. I think a lot of people, they like have been so programmed by the system, by their parents, by their so-called friends, by everyone. And those are the terms and conditions that you live by. You never set the terms and conditions for your own reality. You never even set a target for yourself because you were always trying to work up to the target that someone else set for you. What the fuck kind of life is that? So I decided, like, I just have to man up about this. Like, born alone, die alone. I know it's grim, but it is what it is. So I've talked about this many times, but the things that I decided to do was no longer be... I want to say this in a simple way. To not take the relationship that I had with my dad personally and realize that he was just going through his own shit. And he decided to bring a child into this world before he could settle, before he can prioritize being a father. This is a common thing. A lot of children are born purely of a mistake. I mean, at the end of the day, all you got to do is fuck at a particular time of the month. A lot of babies are mistakes. So that's kind of what I've diagnosed. People aren't ready to be parents a lot of the times. So they look at having a kid like the way like a woman looks at getting a new pair of shoes. Like it's an accessory. You know how people get dogs? People get dogs a lot of the times because it's like buying a new pair of shoes. They're like, look, it's like an accessory. I get to be seen with this thing. It gives me some momentary companionship. Now, of course, I'm not talking about everyone. But this is a lot of the time. People feel like they need something. I need something. And then they go get a dog. They go get a cat. They go get whatever. See, people don't feel fulfilled at all until they get something. Isn't that interesting? This is going to make the conversation very uncomfortable. Because a lot of people are like, but I love my cat. I know you love your dog. I know. We're not dumb. But if you need that dog to feel complete, then guess what happens when the dog dies? Or shall I say ascends, or whatever more comfortable word you like. You're going to be depressed. You're going to be sad. So by me making you uncomfortable right now, well, we could work towards the inevitable. You do not own anything. That's not your dog. Look down at your skin right now, your hands. You don't even own the fucking skeleton inside of your body. Your ego makes you believe that. You didn't come here to get coddled. You showed up to this live stream because you wanted the truth. We have this possession, this ownership, this desire to control, this desire to own. And that is actually bringing us more suffering for a longer time horizon than the momentary happiness the thing gives you when you've acquired it. Rewind what I just said and fucking write that down. It's important shit. Darren Walsh said, I have a name for the podcast. It's called What's Tomorrow Like? Okay. Cool, brother. I believe in you. Whatever you feel you should do, that's what I support. Save yourself. I appreciate $5 super. Sending you lots of love. So recapping on this whole thing about ownership and possession, we do the same thing with our memories. Trauma, right? It's stored. It's unresolved. We hold on to it like it's a cancer, like it's a parasite that hosts us. And I've learned that forgiveness is the only way, no matter how cruel this being was to you. No matter how cruel and awful someone was treating you, I want you to remember that the only reason they did that to you is because of the pain that they're feeling, because of the unresolved trauma they're dealing with. Everyone's just unloading their baggage onto everyone else. Stop taking it personally. I'll give you guys a moment to really absorb what I'm saying. Marinate in it. You know what I'm saying? Think about this. Close your eyes. You right now are in a rush to get to work. You have 1 hour and you really need to get groceries because you have no more food in your house. You're working one of those shifts where you can't take a break and your shift ends after the grocery stores close. So I need to get some food because imagine you have children, all right? It's not only about you, now you got to feed them. You see the scenario I'm painting right now. You need to get the fucking food because of the circumstance. Maybe you live in one of those small little towns where all the restaurants close early, whatever, all right? Now you have this 1 hour window to get from your house to the grocery store back to then be able to take your commute to get to work on time. You will now start to prioritize to make everything about you. You. Meaning when you're driving the car, it's your road. If anyone gets in the way, it's called in your way. If somebody gets in front of you and they make it so the timing of between the stoplights isn't going according to your journey, you get upset. Everything becomes about you. All right? Right now, by the way, what we're admitting here is that you've already decided to be God. I don't even need to keep going because there's a way deeper lesson that I just revealed right there. You've already made yourself God. So congratulations, gods. That grocery store better not close on at that time because I need food. It's about you. You. Okay, so now imagine you get there, you get the groceries. Now you need to come back home. There's an accident. Someone is in an accident and you're like, fuck this shit, dude. I needed to get home. I need to take a detour now. It's going to take an extra 5 minutes. You're not even being compassionate about the fact that there could be like a pregnant woman in a car crash. You don't even give a shit about the car crash because it's about you. Now you get home, right? You have these bags. You have all these bags you got to carry. All right? Somebody starts walking across the street, but it's someone you don't know. It's a stranger. And you're like, immediately you're like, no, they're going to bother me. They're going to ask for something. I don't have time for this. I don't have time for this. I don't have time for this. You're that energy, right? And then the next thing you know, the person yells out to you, do you need help with your bags? And now you kind of feel like shit, right? Because you're like, whoa, I was judging this before it even happened, but I was making this all about me because I've decided I want to be God right now because everything needs to operate under my terms and conditions. And this is my clock, my job, my life, my grocery store, everything is me. You don't even want the help. You've set up your life in a way where you don't trust anyone right now. You don't trust anything. You don't trust the process. You don't trust the clock. You don't trust yourself. You're just like, you're wigging out. You're like a fucking squirrel trying to find an acorn. This type of nervousness, this type of tension, this type of beingness is like the common mode, the standard mode of a human right now. I'm not saying I'm perfect, by the way. The reason I could be so quick and explain this is because I am being vulnerable with you. I am like this all the fucking time. I've just learned how to calm the beast. I've learned how to go with the flow of the energy. I've learned how to learn from it. What lesson does it have for me? What's the opportunity here? The same thing goes with the relationship you used to have with your family, your parents, your so-called shitty dad or whatever, your drug addict mom or whatever. We can sing that song forever. Or you can just realize that there was a time where your mom and dad were acting the same way to just do what they needed to do, to be their own little gods, to get whatever to happen for you to happen at that time. And most of the time when they made those choices, it meant that they needed to avoid being your parent. They solely just needed to be the provider. It happens a lot. You put two parents into a world where they both get taxed, they both have to work together to earn wages to be able to pay off the bills. It's going to be hard to always tap into that mode of being a good father or a good mother. They're still going to be in work mode when they come home from work. That's just like the way we all are. Again, you're making it all about you right now, so you don't think your parents made it all about them at one point, even when they had you? I'm just saying, man, we got to think outside the fucking box here. I know it's not fun. I know you want to think you would do better. A lot of the time, that's what the ego does too. The ego has a mechanism of saying, I know I would be a better dad. Will you, though? Will you? You know what makes you a better dad? You know what makes you a better human is when you could just admit everything I just said. That by default is like a sigh of relief. I get to just admit that I'm full of shit too, and that I make this all about me too. I do kind of act like a god. I do kind of act that way when I'm driving my car. I do kind of act that way when I'm at work. I do kind of act that way when I'm with a client. I do kind of act that way when I'm with my wife. I do kind of act that way when I'm with my grandma. I do kind of act that way when I'm with myself. You're in the shower having an argument with yourself. You're in the shower having an argument with your wife, and she's not even talking with you right now. You're like, you have a Hollywood script inside of your mind of an argument that you're about to have because of the way she cooked the chicken last Thursday. If that doesn't reveal the layers of your own weirdness, then I don't know. But if everyone right now thinks they're an angel and thinks you would do better, well, that's the reason why you can't forgive. That's the reason why you can't be compassionate. That's the reason why it's difficult for you to see the world as it is. Because instead, we rather see the world like this. We would feel more comfortable seeing the world like this. This is comfortable to us. Because we want to avoid how we're more alike than we are different. The same shittiness that was in your mothers and fathers is probably the same shittiness that's in you. We're all just trading off our pros and cons. We have our own personalities, we have our own beliefs, we have our own desires. We all have what interests us. But I guarantee you, if anything gets in the way of any of those things that I just listed, you will probably get frustrated. You will probably say, but wait, it's not going my way. Because you want to control the whole thing. You want to control the whole process. It's natural. So that's how I was able to tap into that past. I just put myself in that fucking position. I put myself in those shoes. And I don't spend every single waking hour of my life thinking that I could have done it better than someone else. And now let's go in another direction because I think this is going to be dope. How many people have so much to say about people that are doing something that they don't do or they don't know how to do? Like it happens to me on a daily basis of somebody trying to tell me how I should be looking at the world. And I'm like, okay. But I know the difference when a leader is talking to me, and I know when somebody who has only opinions to share is talking to me. I could sense the difference. Just a different tone, different energy. Don't ever think that you can do it better than others. Just do. Don't think that your way is the best way. Don't even think that there is a best way. There is no best way. There's just your way. You will leave your unique imprint on this realm. And the only way that will be able to happen is if you stop trying to outdo everyone. And guess what, by the way? AI is going to completely whitewash this entire thing called art, this entire thing called creation. We're done. And you know how fucking excited I am? Oh my God, I'm thrilled. And I'm not saying that as a joke. I'm being serious. I want more AI now. I want all the AI. I want everyone wearing these goggles. I want the whole world to go in this lane. I think it's great because what it'll do is it'll make my music, it'll make my art shine. It will make what I'm doing be noticed. This is good, guys. I know a lot of people right now, even I've said my own things on this. A lot of people are like discouraged. Bro, if you're a creator right now, if you're somebody who's an entrepreneur, if you're somebody who's doing something and you're being honorable about it and you're delivering it from the heart, you should be ecstatic that this is happening. This should be the happiest day of your life. You should want more AI, want more of the people walking around with these headsets, because it will make your life so much easier to cut through and be seen and be noticed, and you'll learn who your real people are. This is good. I am very optimistic about all of this shit. If people want to lock themselves away in their home wearing this nonsense all day, then great. I think it's going to bring more abundance to the real ones. I think it's going to make your life easier in order to achieve the things that you are envisioning. And I know this is like a contrast to what a lot of so-called truthers think. A lot of people think this is like clown world, and it is clown world. I can't deny that. This is absolute clown world 4.0. But you all get to, if you are a real one, if you are doing your part honorably and honestly, you have your work cut out for you. This is the easiest it's ever been. The more tech like this that comes out, trust me. Crypto BD, I do. It's over on my website. Go to watersabove.com. And there's a book call tab right there. Dr. Savage asks, have you seen my President's Day decodes? I have not, brother, but I hope you're doing well. It's great to see you decoding. I know you've been doing it for a long time. One of the OGs in the space. So first of all, shout out to Dr. Savage. Appreciate you being here, brother. Hope you're doing well. Dustin, I hope you're doing amazing, brother. Dustin says, from your first live all the way to now, it's been an incredible journey and fun to watch you expand whilst never holding back on the spice. You've always been a real one. Yes. There's only one mode I have, which is me. I'm on me mode. I'm on the mode of this so-called acting shit is exhausting. I don't know how people who have these, I don't know how people in general act. I get it, but I don't get it. Like for me, there's just one mode. Just be fucking real. But I appreciate you, Justin. I appreciate you, Dustin. People are having the discussion over what's more dangerous, the human or the tiger. It's really unimportant. You know, we have us being dangerous or less dangerous. Yeah, we do what we do. They do what they do. The comparison of what's more dangerous or not, I know a lot of people like to think humans are dangerous, but we're not doing shit to this realm. Like we think we think we know what we're doing. This is momentary. If the human body is momentary, then the damage we do is momentary. But I almost guarantee when shit hits the fan and it all gets wiped away, the tigers will be left here and we'll be sucking our thumbs with these goggles on in an underground bunker, remembering the days where we got to eat apples. Instead, all we have is Apple products. Enlightened Dad asks, have you seen the show The Magicians before? Yes, I have. I have. A couple episodes, but not the whole thing. Mike said, "Are we gonna make the pandas pay for it?" You know what? I have a proposition. I am going to build a mansion in the middle of the desert, and I'm gonna make the tigers pay for it. I'm gonna build a mega mansion. Not even. I'm gonna build a doomsday bunker. I'm gonna build a doomsday bunker in the shape of in the shape of a rocket ship, so that from outer space it kind of looks like maybe it's a space station. And I'm gonna make the tigers pay for it. I'm gonna tax the shit out of the tigers. I'm gonna squeeze them. I'm gonna put a land tax on every square inch of the desert of the tigers are getting fucked. Tigers better call up their lawyers because they're getting squeezed. I'm building a doomsday bunker in Africa and India, in both places. I'm gonna get the Bengal tigers. They're done. And they're gonna pay for it. I'm gonna build a wall and make the tigers pay for it. Why? You know. Appreciate you. Hope you're doing well. Will said, "Dude, you have a free place to stay if you ever come to Switzerland." I appreciate you. It's all love. Verhoofdy says something that I really agree with. Not that they need me to agree with them, but the statement, "airports are demoralizing." Mamma mia. Can I get an amen? That is so true. I feel so fucking silly in an airport. I gotta admit. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Just get your shit on the plane and fucking get in the plane. Why do we have to make it like this song and dance in a single file line, and then we have to have an officer look at our paperwork? I mean, it really does, like, it really does. Oh, and the best, the last time I was in Amsterdam, shout out to my Dutch wolves, shout out to any wolves that are in Amsterdam, Holland. I'm not talking shit about you guys at all, but yo, the Dutch are so serious about rules. Like, people think Americans have rules and are serious about. No, dude. I was in the airport in Amsterdam, and you know, like, there's the line, like the queue, and then when you're going through security, you have to take your laptop out, your bag, whatever stuff you want to bring on the plane, right? Standard procedure. Well, when you're one of the 4 booths that are available where they have the trays, usually you just go and occupy whatever the space is, and then when you're done taking your shit out and putting it on the trays, you push it through, and then you get on the line to go through the scanner or whatever, and then you just keep it moving. Well, in Amsterdam, it's like one person at a time. Even if you're the first or second person, but the person is third next to you, they're like waiting one by one to do everything in order. And I'm like, what the fuck are we doing? We're grown-ups. Like, it's like they're treating you like you're in kindergarten. And I thought that was so strange. And I was like, no wonder why the Dutch fucking hate their own country. Like, no wonder why you guys are like protesting, and like, it's so weird. That airport experience, I never felt more micromanaged and more treated It was demoralizing, the whole process. So many people are like, well, it's more efficient. They're more efficient. That's a great cop-out to tell you that this is a form of imprisonment, and this is how they treat you in prison. It was very, very weird. I'll never forget that. It's not like a big complaint. It's not me saying don't go to the Netherlands, because it's awesome. Amsterdam is fun, cool place. Dutch people are awesome, by the way. Like, I prefaced that earlier saying this is not about you, but your system is so sterile and so serious, and you care so much about the rules. Like, okay, when I pushed my shit through, the man in front of me looked at me like I killed a baby. Like, he looked at me like I broke the cardinal rule. And I was like, what is happening here? We're all just trying to get on a fucking plane right now. Why do we have this song and dance? Why do we have this, like, he cut me off energy? That's how he looked. He looked back at me like I cut him, like I cut him. He looked at me like I fucking took a knife out and cut him. It's like, bro, it's gonna be okay. It's just a laptop in a box. We'll all get on the plane later. Chill. It was so weird. I've never had that experience in any other country before, and I've traveled to many. Weird. And it was just one of many little, like, tiny nuances that, yeah. Also, the Dutch absolutely suck at making toilets. Your toilet design is insane. I needed to get that out. Every building you walk into is like climbing a ladder. I don't understand how people that on average are about 6 feet tall, like big people, made houses that are impossible to get into. Like, it feels like you're in a fucking jungle gym to get up to the second apartment in a building. Who designed this shit? To move a couch into your own house, you need like a conveyor belt system on a fucking rope to rope up the couch, and then somebody at the top needs to hoist it up. There's no way you thought that was good planning. There was like zero city planning. There was no plan, but yet you have the most rules. Strange. I know a lot of people are like, well, Japan has probably the most rules. Japan's the most serious, but I get it. I know. We're having fun right now. We're not taking it serious either. Sometimes we like to have some comedy segments in here. Laugh, giggle, talk a little shit. It's all fun. And I love the Dutch are big supporters of my work. I mean, it's probably the fourth biggest country of people that tune in to these to this channel. So I love you guys. I appreciate you, but it's time to break some fucking rules, man. And you're so socially liberal. You would expect, like, when you have legal prostitution, the red light district, and smoking weed and all this other stuff, you'd be more, like, less serious about the rules. I thought if you're like into weed and all that other stuff, you'd be like not so strict. Did that place suck during the lockdown? That must have sucked. That must have really sucked. But shout out to the Netherlands. George, you asked about the course. It is available now, the new Decoding Mastermind, on my website, watersabove.com. You can go right here, you can click, and you'll learn a little bit more about the course. You could read this about section. It explains what's going to be in it. And then if you go to overview and press the drop down menu, you're going to see all of the names of the videos, and there'll be more added to it over time. So right now, if you go to the website and you click on this banner at the top, it says take 15% off. It'll share all the information and a promo code if you wanted to get this now while it's in its intro sale. So for limited time, I'll have this up, and then I do have further installments added to this, so no worries. Pretty much by getting in now, you're locked in at the lowest price because it's a one-time payment for lifetime access. So this promo code gives you it at the literal lowest price, at the best price since pre-sale launch, which we were doing last week. We've moved through that phase, and I also want to thank and show my gratitude for everyone that joined at the beginning. I appreciate you. Any of those early supporters, it really means the world to me. I know you've gotten immense gnosis from this project, because even with the 20 videos that are included, some of them get into 18, 17, 15 minutes long with 30 slides per video of just, unbelievable amounts of notes can be taken on just a single video once you get especially into the duality masterclass. So I've gotten really solid feedback from this, and I expected it because of how much is packed into this course. The amount of slides, just to let people know, when I had 7 chapters worth of the expansion mastermind, that's what these 2 masterclasses of this decoding mastermind have in terms of content. So it might seem like less videos, but the amount of overall content in it is much, much more, which I think is better anyways. It makes it more user-friendly, and it makes it more of a process that I think builds a foundation in a very heady and complicated subject matter, which is decoding, right? As opposed to the expansion mastermind was more about mindset. A lot of the stuff we talk about here on these live streams, health and wellness and consciousness expansion. But this is really about decoding, about building that solid foundation of decoding. So anyways, this is going to be on an intro sale for limited time. I'll have this promo code up here on my website, watersabove.com. You just got to click up here, and then also in the description of this, there's a promo code as well. And it'll be my first full-length decoding course. I have never released one, so this is really just the start of a big project, and what's in it already is a heap. So appreciate everyone, and for those that are joining during this intro sale, much love, appreciate you. And you can learn more about any of the courses by just going to my website, watersabove.com. It's very easy to navigate. You just can click up here. There's a drop-down menu. Also, if you were to just scroll down the first page, it's going to share everything. And there's a little trailer video if you wanted to watch a promo sample on this website as well, and then you could check out a little bit more what's explained in this video. Shout out to Matt Ball, who helped me bring that trailer video to life. It's really a sample video because what it's sharing is exactly kind of the vibe of where the course is headed. I'm looking through some of the chat real quick, but I hope I answered your question, brother. Kane, I appreciate that. You said your Decoding Mastermind course is amazing. I've went through 3 times already, and I'm learning something new every time. Kane, that's how it's going to be. Seriously. Kane, I wanted to make it almost like a song. And the way I listen to music is the first time I listen to a song, I'll give an explanation. So we have Metallica, Master of Puppets album, which allegedly has 137 songs. It does it though. It has 8. How the hell? It's 1,000 versions of the same song. But anyways, listened to this track Orion yesterday, probably 30 times. and there's a cut in the middle of the track where it just gets so beautiful, like really sick. Yeah, I listen on one, and by the way, I've listened to this album so many times, but consciously listening to music without judgment, without having like expectation, like just let it be, let it play. Really just listen, not hearing music, listening. If whether you like metal or not, that's not what this is about. I'm actually not even really into metal music as much as I used to be. But this song, Orion, is a work of art. It's really, really beautiful. And it hits this one point where it transitions and this bass line comes in. So, okay, I'll give you my step-by-step process. It's very simple. It's nothing crazy. I'll listen to a song for the first time purely for the feel of it. I'm like, how does this make me feel? No melody, lyrics, none of that. Just, does this make me feel? Then right after that, I'm digging like into, is this something I haven't heard before? Like, does this sound new? Does this sound unique? Is this just a cover band? Like, there's a lot of music that's just very copycat, very boring, very repetitive, not really anything new. So first couple listens are more just for, does this make me feel? Is this unique? Does this make me start to get inspired, to start philosophizing? Then I'll start getting into this more analytical approach on like third or fourth pass. And now I'm asking myself, is this musical? Like, does this have a musical quality to it? Because there's a lot of, especially electronic music today, that has no musicality. It is like, yeah, it's very mechanic, industrial, which is nothing wrong with that. Sometimes I add those elements into my own music, for sure. But it needs to have like emotion. It needs to feel like it's more than just a robot doing it all, right? So that's like on the fourth pass. And then it starts getting into, I want to just pay attention to the drums. I want to just pay attention to the bass. I want to just pay attention to the guitars, but not just the guitar from a perspective of, does this sound like a cool guitar line, or does this sound like a guitar line that's synchronizing and in harmony with everything else that's happening? Well, anyways, this song Orion, like up until the guitar solo, just being completely honest, up until the guitar solo, it's like, it's sick. It's so fucking fire. Well, anyways, Kane, I wanted to make my course like that. I wanted to make my course so that on the first time you go through it, you're like, whoa, I feel things. I feel things that I haven't felt before. It's making me look at life and look at, like, my perception has changed. That's why I call the first masterclass Perception Mastery. Again, for those that are just joining in now, what I'm talking about is this new Decoding Mastermind. So I designed this in a way that in the first pass, it's almost like the way I like to listen to music. Like, I know it's going to have a lot of elements that might get a little complicated, and you might need to go back through it 2 or 3 or 4 times. And I knew that's how it would go. It's the less is more, but more is also kind of brilliant delivery. Which again is very much like this song that I was listening to last night on repeat, Orion. Another good example of a song that's like this is this track right here, Dirty by JPEG Mafia. Completely different style of music, but just listen to this song Dirty with just the drums. Like, just pay attention to the beat. It's insane. Beautiful. Different. Makes you feel something. Hits it. Again, the only way it wouldn't is if you're looking at it from the analytical approach straight on, which a lot of us do. A lot of us let our so-called taste or what we so-called like get in the way. That's why so many people are like, I don't like hip-hop or I don't like country music. You've heard everyone say that. Because it's fucking polarizing. Hip-hop and country is like vegan and carnivore diet. It's polarizing. So if you know somebody that likes country, they might not like any other music style. They get very culty too. No offense, but I'm cool. I love bluegrass. I'm all about every style of music. I'm a musician. But then they're super closed-minded on the hip hop stuff. So it's like, but then the hip hop head, like people that are only into hip hop, They like don't fuck with anything else either. They're the people that say I don't listen to country. It's funny how those two genres are so polarizing. And you could tell it's because they're going into everything they do with an analytical mind. They're not just allowing the art. They're not allowing the artist's version of how they wanted to share what they were feeling. Because that's all this is. All art is someone was sharing with you how they felt, and this is how it's represented. That's it. But we bypass all of that with simple things like this is good or bad, or this is and yeah, there's no room for that when you're conscious, because you've transcended that duality consciousness and you're no longer so polarized by it. That's why answering the question earlier about the carnivore, the vegan thing, it's like that, it gets so exhausting, because it's like the person who could look you in the eyes and say, I don't like country. It's like, well, you just don't know the genre. You don't know really what's going on there. There's a whole plethora. Not everything is fucking Tim McGraw or whatever. Just some guy like complaining about his Jeep Cherokee and his daughter that now has a boyfriend for the first time. Well, I don't know what the hell they complain about, but this is it, man. I wanted to make something that was like a Michelin star meal where it preps you and it has a sequence to it. And I know a lot of people right now are like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? I don't get it. But that's okay. You don't need to get it. But Cain, I think, feels where I'm going with this. And that's why he wanted to go. That's why Cain wanted to go through this 3 times already. Because every time you pass through it on the first go, you're going to feel things. On the second go, you're going to be a little bit more analytical. On the third go, you're going to start to like isolate the instruments. You're going to hear the drums. You're going to hear the bass line. You're going to hear the vocals. I know it's a course. I know it's not a song, but this is art. And AI can't do this shit. AI is not going to be able to do what we're doing here. That's why I'm so stoked. Like, that's why I'm so excited. And I'm going in another direction right now, but AI is not going to be able to recreate this. It is almost by default, AI is void of prana. It has no life to it. Anyways, I don't want to get too on that path now, because that deserves its own context. That deserves its own conversation. Mr. Jansen, I think you just made a t-shirt idea. Mr. Jansen, can you make a t-shirt that says I made God? I made God. That really one-ups Kanye saying I am a god. Mr. Jansen said I made God. But have it look like the made in China font. Like, like the Hecho in Mexico, you know, have it look like the made in China, but it just says I made God. That is so fucking good. Somebody says, why do you have as above, so below for your thumbnail? The thumbnail of Cesar Borgia? I just thought it was a pretty cool picture. I forgot what stained... It's not stained glass, but it's some sort of tile work inside of a popular cathedral. Basilica. Pohai Rodriguez. Appreciate you feeling into it. Sarah Lynn, it's all love. Yeah, this whole Biden thing is really, really weird. Just like we drew it up. Very, very awkward. I don't know, man. You know it's not him. So why are they using this account to push something like that through? And then the alt text being Dark Brandon. It's so random. So random. Balling Loco says, why the Tigers? What? If you showed up at the part of this live stream of me saying that I want to build a, what did I say? I can't fucking remember. We have to end this soon anyways, like 10 more minutes. I was talking about building a doomsday bunker and making the Tigers pay for it. I'm going to tax the Tigers. We're no longer in the year of the tiger. That was 2 years ago, so fuck these tigers. It's an inside joke between me and one of my buds, Verhoofdy Floofen. We're just having fun. Luke said waters for president. You don't want that. You do not want that. I would be the worst. I would be the worst. My IQ is probably like 71. Let's see where 71 IQ lines up. Does this make me like a borderline? Stop. I'm borderline intellectual functioning. That is my, I'm going to make that my title. Like when somebody asks, you know, when you meet somebody for the first time and they're like, what do you do? Like they want to know where you work. Those are the generic questions people ask when they meet you. I'm going to say I'm borderline intellectual functioning. That's my pronoun. My pronoun is borderline. Borderline. I'm a borderline intellectual. By the way, this is not fucking funny. Like, so if you're laughing right now, you're fucked up. You're sick. The real joke was that people would assume maybe that I have a high IQ. And that was the joke. That's where the joke started. Okay? So I am not average. I am borderline. When somebody asks me what I do, I'm going to say I'm a borderline intellectual functioner. That's my pronoun. And you better not laugh. Patrick Rowan, I hope you're doing amazing. Elijah, I'm gonna be having fun till they bury my skeleton. I think we need to just laugh more and have fun. Mr. Jansen says the red district sucks. Is there anyone that makes reviews about such a thing? Like, can we get a review video of like some dude from the UK who's like, I can't make the accents, by the way. Like, there's a lot of things that I can do in this world. Making accents is not one of them. But can we get like a review channel? That would be so much better than like 99% of crypto TA channels, mine included. Just a channel dedicated to people who've gone to like brothels. Yo, have they made, I really have to go soon. But have they made any AI brothels yet? Somebody confirm. You know how people are like food bloggers, like food reviewers, people who review things, people who review like music. There's people who like, that's how they make their money. They review something someone else created. Imagine, all right? But for a moment, let's just think, is there a review channel dedicated to going to the red light district? Of the person that's like, this is the best street to go on, and then like gives you all of like the fine points, you know? But is there any AI brothels? I'm just wondering. Because we're there. We're pretty much at the end of the world. We have like maybe 100 more years left. It's a parabolic curve. Oh yeah, dude. Mr. Jansen said when he was in the airport in the Netherlands, they checked his passport 6 times. Dude, that's all they did? They didn't like lift up your shirt and like examine your belly button for a couple minutes? Like, that shit is a crazy place. Somebody said Netherlands is actually one of the best places to live in Europe. Sure. I mean, that's all perspective. When people share that they've had whatever experience, whatever the best places, I mean, it's all good if you have enough money, if you have enough, you know, mobility, if you have maybe friends, family, connections. But I don't think I would call it the best place. No. I could list so many better experiences in Europe. I mean, horrible weather in the Netherlands. Kalita said, come to Birmingham. There's so many crackheads, but they're friendly. Have you ever seen that video of this one? I hate calling people crackheads, by the way, because my father was one. My dad smoked crack. But anyways, I've told you guys about this enough times, and that's not a joke. That's a serious thing. But there was a guy in Los Angeles, I think, in like Skid Row, or maybe it was Brooklyn. It was somewhere in a big metropolitan city. It's either New York or maybe Chicago. It doesn't matter. But you can go on YouTube. That's what I should have just said. Just go on YouTube and type in crackhead rides bicycle with a refrigerator. And this dude is literally riding a fucking bike, like a bicycle, not a motorbike. He is riding a bicycle alone, holding a refrigerator. And then I think somebody makes a comment where they're like, that's crackhead strength. And it's just like, I lost my shit. I thought that was so funny. But yeah, I don't know if that's crack. That's like angel dust or something. But yeah, crackheads are weak and easy to fend off, like if they ever try. But yeah, they're sneaky, you know? They're sneaky. They play to their advantage. Sneaker. They're like the swiper from that fucking cartoon show, Dora the Explorer. Am I allowed to make that joke because I have a personal connection to it? I've never smoked crack myself, by the way. I don't even smoke weed. I don't do any of that. But when I watched the scene in that Wolf of Wall Street movie where he gifts Jordan Belfort a crack pipe for, like, he calls that a gift, that was really wild to me because it makes me think that was probably a thing at one point. Before crack was like this dirty, disgusting, looked down upon item, did it have a Coke phase where, like, you know, Coke was cool? It was like what rich people did and like you were one of the cool guys. Did crack have like a cool guy phase? Like right now where everyone wears these Apple things, they're the cool guys? Because when they show you that scene in the movie, like this guy's like, how would you ever call giving somebody a hit on a crack pipe a gift? Unless it was cool at one time. But they looked like they were having fun. You know? Like, I'm not trying to say you should go do it. I am not pro anything, actually. But he got up and he started running and they were excited and they looked like they were having a pretty fucking good time. Luigi asks, fun question, Ibanez or Fender? I have personally an Ibanez S Series Prestige, so it's this guitar. I got it a very long time ago. It's like more of a wood grain. I've posted pictures of it in the past. Natural finish, maybe I'll type in. It is like quite a shreddy looking guitar, but it's super light. And that's what I love about it. It's easy to travel with. It's a very light guitar. It sounds awesome. Yeah, so, but I think Telecasters are dope, depending on the type of music you play. The first guitar that I ever owned for a long period of time was a Les Paul Custom. It was the heaviest hunk of wood ever. It was the most uncomfortable thing to play concerts in. I did not like it. It was super heavy. But yeah, this thing was like wearing a necklace. You could stand up and play it for hours. It was great. Very thin fretboard. I like it a lot. But Fenders are also great. American-made Strats, American-made Telecasters. They're great. They're both great. But I prefer Ibanez. Infinity Meta says Singapore is the most rules. I believe that. Somebody asks, what are you drinking? LaCroix seltzer, like a lime. And then it's because I finished my other concoction. It was just a pomegranate juice mixed with, it was pomegranate juice mixed with coconut water and then a little bit of magnesium. Liquid magnesium. Infinite Loop, I appreciate you. Got your super chat. What is this currency? ZAR. South African Rand. Wow, shout out to South Africa, brother. Hope you're doing well. You said appreciate you and all you do for this realm. Your decoding mastermind is some of your greatest work. Wow. That really means the world to me, man. Yeah, I think I remember your name. Vessel. Am I saying it right? Vessel? Like you pronounce it with a V. But anyways, much love. I really appreciate you. Sending you lots of love. And anyone who invested in this decoding mastermind, I appreciate you. Like I said earlier, it's on sale, 15% off for a limited time, available on the website watersabove.com. Diego, I appreciate the super chat. You said, you know what a black swan is, but what is a white swan? I'm not entirely sure if that terminology would be used. Because in either direction, if you're talking about a positive thing to happen, it could also be a black swan event. Like, if you think about it a white swan is just generic. It would almost be boring, nothingness, mediocre. That's how I would perceive it. If somebody was to perceive that a white swan in the terms of investing was a positive thing on the market, that wouldn't make any sense to me. Considering bullish or bull markets are the shortest time frame. And, well, swans are... Anyways. So we all heard the term black swan. It's typically something that has to do with things that come out of nowhere. And the C19 crash was one of those. And it followed by a historic bull run because of what the Fed did. They're printing. Black swans are good. But yeah, I wouldn't look at it dualistically in that fashion. Oh man, I really have to go. It's time, brothers and sisters. Jai Chef said, whose world is this? It's your world. It's your world, Jai. It's like Nas says, the world is yours. The world is yours, brother. Dusty Ford says hip-hop doesn't exist at the moment. That's really interesting. Have you checked out JPEG Mafia? He's a newer artist that's been absolutely killing it. JPEG not only performs all of his own stuff, he sings, he is a poet, but he's also a producer. So he produces his own stuff. So yeah, I would think there's a lot of options out there. There's a lot of great artists. Check out him, though. He's been very inspiring to me lately. Somebody who could do both. Just production is amazing. Also, check out this album by Nick Grant. If you want to have... Dusty, sometimes people saying what you just said right there is because you like the more old school vibe. Like, maybe you vibe more with Wu-Tang or, what I just shared before, Nas, or you like Big L, or... I don't know what you like, but... That's where that's coming from. A lot of people don't like this newer generation of hip-hop, but if you want to feel somebody who's in the new school, who's doing it the old school way, check out this Nick Grant album. Absolutely incredible. I think you'll love it. Yo, you guys are laughing at AI brothels, but it has to be a thing. It has to be a thing. Amoris said there's already sex robots. Oh no. Inquiring minds want to know. AI brothels. This is too funny. Oh man. All right. We got to go. I love you guys. I hope you're doing amazing and having an amazing day so far. For anyone that hung out with us for several hours, it really means the world to me. Also, As I said moments ago, got this Decoding Mastermind Course intro sale available, pinned comment, and get 15% off introductory price. Be one of the early supporters. And I really appreciate all of y'all. Hope that I could connect with some of you next week. Maybe do another live stream, but I need a weekend off soon. Also, I do have tomorrow the new Red Pill podcast. So be doing the Red Pill podcast, a little wrap up for this wild week in the markets, and then set up for this upcoming week. We got about 1 month ahead until the next FOMC meeting. So this market could do a lot of wild stuff, and it's very overheated right now. So we have a lot to recap. Be going over some altcoins too, some breakouts here and there in the altcoin market, but by no means an alt season. So a confusing energy in the market, and I think a lot of people need some clarity, and I'm looking forward to this new podcast. So I appreciate all of y'all. I'll be catching up with some of you tomorrow on the Red Pill, and everyone else. We'll be connected soon for sure. And wishing you all a beautiful rest of your day in the Matrix. Much love.